Hi, my name is Nicole.
Hi, my name's Ainsley.
Hi, my name is Diamond.
And welcome to the Dope Student Podcast. Who do we have here today?
My name's Alex Kiehl, and I'm an architectural designer with Blackney Hayes.
Okay, Miss Alex, so today we're going to be asking some questions. First question is, can you share what initially sparked your interest in architecture and what led you to pursue it as a career?
So I've always been design focused and analytical, which is you mix the two a lot in architecture. And my mom was an elementary art teacher, so she kind of exposed me to the option of architecture, and it just kind of went from there. So I've always known I wanted to be an architect since I was in elementary school.
Second question is, as a recent graduate and current educator, how do you stay up to date with the latest developments and trends in the field of Architecture. Yeah, thank you.
You're good. It's a hard word. So I try to stay in contact with a lot of other professors. A big reason, so I currently teach at Temple University. A big reason I went back to teaching on top of working full-time is I wanted to stay up to date with what's going on in the field of architecture. It's constantly changing and evolving, especially with AI right now. There's a lot of stuff that's happening in the field of architecture. And so my firm is doing research about how we can best use AI in our field and how it can benefit us, while I'm also trying to stay at the university level and keep up to date with what's coming out there.
What aspects of architecture are you particularly passionate about, and how does it strive to make the field accessible to everyone?
So I'm really interested in historic preservation. So I actually teach historic preservation at Temple. I got a dual degree in undergrad in preservation and design. So that's kind of what my focus is. I try to do a lot of traditional historic architecture as well and a lot of renovations. I think just in terms of making it accessible to everyone, really there's not a lot of diversity in the historic preservation field, unfortunately, and there should be, because really a lot of what's going on in historic preservation right now is making sure we're preserving the histories of all different people, not just certain types of people. So we really need all voices just to make sure everyone's voice is heard. So I think that's something that as a profession we can work on in preservation and architecture.
Okay. How can we get more students interested in architecture?
I think just looking at buildings around you and paying attention. I know a lot of us are on our phones, me included, a lot now. But looking at the world around you and buildings, and if you're interested in them, understanding them, Mr. Jarrett's program, looking at construction fields, is really helpful just to know what exists. But architecture is kind of the precursor to what people would be doing in the field, right? So looking at those construction documents, blueprints, understanding them, and then some people might be interested in producing them just like I was.
What are some crucial aspects of architecture that students should be aware of, especially those considering a career in the field?
So architecture in school is a lot of design, which is really fun and something I really enjoy. You definitely do design in the field as well, but there's a lot of coordination that goes into it. So it's something where it's a career where it's really good to be organized, and you have to be a good communicator, because a lot of my job is coordinating between, let's say, the electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, plumbing engineer. It's the architect's job to kind of bring all of that together and make sure it's working in a functional building, right? Because your building has to stand up and it has to have lights and all of that. So I think that's a big part of architecture that when you're in college or you're first looking at it, you don't necessarily think about.
Reflecting on your career journey, what keystones and challenges have influenced your path in architecture?
So what college I chose influenced my path a lot. So Temple has a dual program, so I was able to do preservation and design, and that kind of set the career path that I'm on. I then went and got my master's at the University of Virginia, and I specifically chose that school because they have historic preservation, and it is a historic-driven school. So I think just choosing that path at my undergraduate level really kind of pushed me in the direction I went. It also helped me kind of choose what firms I wanted to work at as I moved forward, and it's the reason I'm teaching now. So,
what advice would you offer to students who are interested in pursuing a career in architecture?
Get off your phones, look at the world around you. Like I said before, I think there's so many valuable things to see. And I notice my friends who aren't interested in construction or architecture at all don't really pay attention to what's going on. You can reference, that big orange building. They're like, I've never noticed, I've never looked. So it's important for us to be noticing these things, looking at details, things like that. But also just draw work on your computer, like computer programs that are like modeling programs. Honestly, Sims was a big part of me learning to like wanting to become an architect when I was in like middle and high school, if anyone's played Sims. But things like that, just exploring your interests in architecture and building.
How do you believe exposure to real-world experiences can shape students' understanding and career choices in architecture?
It's really important in architecture to bring your past experiences to the table. It's good to have all different opinions when you're designing a building. Like, everyone has different experiences, and not just one person is going to be using the building, right? So it's important for all of us to take our history and what we've been through and what we've experienced into our design so we can produce a building that's accommodating everyone and will work for everyone.
Can you share any memorable experience or lessons learned from interacting with students' interest in architecture?
Yeah, I've recently been going to high schools and giving some presentations about architecture with Turner Construction, and it's been really valuable just getting to see what students out there are thinking about, what they're interested in, and getting to share what I've experienced. I think architecture is a very niche job. There's not a ton of us out there. The programs in college are pretty small. So finding other architects can be somewhat difficult sometimes. Like, we all kind of know each other. So it's great to meet students and be able to like share that knowledge, because I know most students hadn't met an architect before. I know I hadn't when I entered the field.
So, do you think there should be more middle school programs to engage the students earlier?
100%. So I think, like I said, I've been giving presentations to high schoolers, and a lot of times by the time that you're junior or senior, you've kind of figured out what you want to do. Not necessarily, you don't have to, but a lot have. And so coming in at the middle school level where everything is kind of open and you're choosing what high school you want to go to, it's a good opportunity to share what is out there so you can make the best decisions as you're moving to the high school level.
Share a fun or interesting fact about yourself that our listeners might find surprising or inspiring.
Ooh. So the way I chose to come to Philadelphia for college and to do architecture was the Divine Lorraine, if anyone knows that building. I don't know how much of a fun fact that is, but I saw it my first time visiting Philly. And at the time, this was like 2013, it hadn't been redone yet. And I decided that I was going to go to school for historic preservation and design specifically so I could redo that building. And someone beat me to it by the time I graduated. So now it's all redone and gorgeous. But that was kind of a big driver for why I came to Philadelphia.
All right. So, a quick thing. Do you have any social media pages where they could reach you out on, or any company pages?
I work with Blackney Hayes, so you can reach out on our company website or give the office a call and ask for Alex Kiehl, and that would be probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. Feel free.
All right. Thank you so much for coming out to the Dope Student Podcast, Miss Alex. Thank you for watching another episode on the Dope Student Podcast.
Bye.